Welcome everyone to the Whispers of the Old Gods card review. So if you guys didn't know, I actually did a full card review of TGT in about 20 minutes when TGT was being announced. I skipped over League of Explorers, but we're gonna go more in depth on this one. So I'm gonna be splitting it into I think 10 parts, right? I'm gonna try to go quickly, make each part about 10 minutes ish. The neutral might take 20 because there's a lot of neutral cards. But I'm going to try and go more in depth than I did with the TGT, because literally TGT, I would click on a card, be like, hey, this card sucks, hey, look, they got a 1 mana, deal 2 damage, okay, whatever. But yeah, let's just go ahead and jump into it. So as you can see, the first card we have is Shifter Xerus. Each turn this is in your hand, transform into a random minion. Super RNG based card. It does have a little bit of potential in, you know, like Casino, YOLO, fun decks, I feel like. But it may not have the same abilities as the reason why we like Unstable Portal more is because of that discount, and the discount actually provides an advantage, but this is not actually providing any advantage in this case. However, you know, this is gonna feed some trolling videos about somebody playing Shifter Xerus that changes every turn, and he manages to pull Deathwing on turn 10 or something stupid like that. So obviously that is a possibility. But yeah, this guy, I don't think this is gonna see any play competitively, because it's a little too random. And this set, if you guys don't know, is already very RNG based. So yeah, I don't think this has a really opportunity. However, I also think this one has the ability to. This one is not going to be like a Curse of Reform thing where it reveals to your opponent that you have it. It's when you play the minion, then it will say created by Shifter Xerus if you get like Mal'Ganis or something like that, which is actually not in standard, so we should go to the standard card pool. So if you get like Jiraxxus, yeah, then it will be like created by Shifter Xerus, and of course we assume that this will change every turn, even if it like changes into like low Jiraxxus, like we said, and then it doesn't and then it changes the turn after. It doesn't just lose it like right away. So no, I don't think it has too much potential. And then we're also doing an arena review. In arena, this is okay, but unlikely. It's still very RNG based. Tentacle of N'Zoth. Death Rattle, deal 1 damage to all minions. 1 mana, 1/1. This is not very good. Terrible arena pick, first of all. I mean, sure, it's an unstable ghoul, but it's basically unstable ghoul minus taunt, minus 2 health, and the taunt was actually what made unstable ghoul pretty strong. Back in the Warsong Commander days, it was really good because you can charge. It's a 2 mana whirlwind. So if you made your 0 mana, if you played Thaurissan and you made your whirlwind 0 mana, you would made unstable ghoul into 1 mana. And then, so maybe if Warsong Commander was still a card, this card would actually be even better than Unstable Ghoul, debatably, because Unstable Ghoul's taunt is easy to play around. You can easily deal 3 damage to the patron without having to kill the taunt minion due to spells. So yeah, this card is not very good, but yeah, nothing much to say about that. Zealous Initiate, 1 mana, 1/1, Death Rattle, give a friendly minion +1/+1. This card is not very good in arena. I mean, a 1 mana 1/1 is actually not very strong, but who knows, because in the future the meta could potentially slow down. So this might cards like 1 mana 1/1s might see play. However, cards from like the classic set that are 1 mana 2/1s or 1 mana 1/2s are probably stronger. Debatably, cards like Northshire Cleric are just very strong at killing 1-drops. Cards with 1 health, and you know, Mage Hero Power, Rogue Hero Power, Druid Hero Power, easy to deal 1 damage. So a lot of 1-drops like these are not very strong, but the effect isn't that good. It's kind of a try-hard version of the Anubisat Sentinel, and it's just not very good. And like I said, in arena, this is kind of bad because 1 mana 2/1s are stronger. So 2 drops. We got Twilight Geomancer, taunt, a 1 mana, a 2 mana 1/4. Battlecry, give your Cthulhu taunt. So it has taunt itself. 2 mana 1/4s are actually pretty good, but you know, cards like Wormrest Agent that start as a 2 mana 1/4 and it can become a 2 mana 2/4, which is really strong. And Armorsmith, those have always found to be very strong. but a 2-mana 1/4 is not very good. Giving Cthulhu Taunt, we don't know because we haven't experimented with Cthulhu, but assuming you're playing a Cthulhu deck, it could be really good because you make a huge Cthulhu, and that is generally hard to remove since BGH got nerfed. But yeah, a 1/4 taunt isn't very strong even in the early game. You want a 2/3 taunt, it might have been actually stronger. 2/4 taunt, obviously with like Wormrest Agent, but it's not very good. Giving Cthulhu Taunt might be strong, like I said, we don't know. And this is actually not able to be played in Arena because it is a Cthulhu card. And Cthulhu and the basically the cult will not be played in Arena. So just putting that out if you didn't know. Otherwise, yeah. So constructed, not very good. But we don't know. Twisted Worgen, 2-mana, 3/1 stealth. Very comparable to Worgen Infiltrator, which is a 1-mana 2/1 stealth. This is debatably alright. There are already 2-mana 3/1s or 3/2s that are actually stronger. Having stealth isn't that good. You'd really just play a Worgen Infiltrator and Hero Power instead to get more attack rather than this. So this is not very good. In Arena, it might be played, but I doubt it because there are just more superior cards in the form of 2/3s and 3/2s. 2/3s are just, this is just really the stats are too fragile. Like it could be a 2-mana 3/2 stealth, and it would be copying like Druid of the Saber, I believe. Yeah, it wouldn't be that good. But yeah, this is not that good. They tried to corrupt. It looks like the old guys tried to corrupt Worgen Infiltrator, gave him +1 attack and +1 mana, and it actually made him worse. So we're gonna see in these the corrupted versions are actually not as good as the originals, of course, and some are actually better. But we'll find those in the future. Beckoner of Evil, 2-mana 2/3. Give your Cthulhu +2/+2 wherever it is. So once again, this is not an Arena, so there is no Arena rating. Very standard stats comparable to River Crocolisk as well as many other 2-drops. Giving Cthulhu +2/+2 seems to be the strength that you're giving in even numbers, because even numbers sort of gives the when your Cthulhu has 10 attack, period, do something that's pretty insane effect. So you want to buff it pretty much as fast as you can. When you do odd numbers, you're gonna be sitting there at 9 with 9/9 Cthulhu and just go, please, come on, please. But yeah, Cthulhu is unlikely to be played with the 1-mana cards. It's pretty hard. But yeah, this is average stats. 3/2 would have been can fight off an earlier board, but now that Knife Juggler has gone down, this can actually contest the Knife Juggler rather than just dying directly to it. But yeah, we also did another video on the nerfs, and you can check that out on my channel. I'll also leave a link in the description. Bilefin Tidehunter, looks like they corrupted Murloc Tidehunter. So Battlecry summon a 1/1 ooze with taunt. So this is debatably better than the Murloc Tidehunter. However, should you want to play the Murloc Tidehunter, you would be playing a Murloc deck that is more Murloc centric in general. So yeah, it summons a 1/1 ooze with taunt. Taunt is probably better. You know, lure the thing away from your Bilefin. It's a 3/2 in stats, which is a balance for a 2-drop, and probably not seen in constructed, like I said, because they have any 1-health minions are just generally very weak in constructed as well as Arena. In Arena, it might be actually better than it's probably better than Murloc Tidehunter, because you have the 1/1 ooze with taunt. It's sort of like, I guess you can say, in like an Annoyatron. It's more of a late game card. You don't play this on turn 2 as much. It's not as strong, at least, because it sort of falls apart. If you kill the 1/1 ooze with taunt, then the overall minion has only a 2/1 in stats, which is really bad for a 2-drop. But like in Arena, it's probably better. It's better than the original, for sure. In Arena, playing it in Arena, but in constructed, probably won't see play because this kind of Murloc deck is fairly weak, and this minion is not very strong on its own. Duskboar, 2-mana 4/1 beast. Comparable to Magma Rager, I believe. So now Magma Rager obviously won't see play because, you know, oh, why would you pay 1 extra mana for 1 extra attack? This is very weak as well, you know, very weak, because yeah, it's just weak in general. Magma Rager, just no additional comments necessary. Easy to kill this with a hero power. However, 2 mana for 4 attack is very strong, but 2 mana for 1 health is very weak. So as if you're playing this so the constructed is terrible, and probably is 0 out of 10 we'll never see play. In Arena, potentially, because unless you go against mages or paladins, which are can deal 1 damage without taking the hit to the face, this can make some progress, I guess, with rogues and druids on their health, but it's still not going to be drafted. Don't draft this card; it's really bad. And like I said, constructed is probably bad too. Our first legendary, Nat the Dark Fisher. At the start of the opponent's turn, they have a 50% chance to draw an extra card. 2 mana, 2/4, by the way. Yeah, so this is the first thing I thought of when I saw this card is mill decks, right? You want to give your opponent mill. It is somewhat comparable to a card like Arcane Golem, which also got nerfed, where the stats are better for its mana cost. However, it's really just it's just 1 more, and it gives this insane bonus. So most 2-drops have a combined stat total of 5. This one has a combined stat total of 6, and it has the potential to give the opponent cards, which is probably not played. So this is probably only going to be played in mill decks. But 2 mana 2/4 already exists in the form of Argent Watchman, and that's not even played. This just in mill decks, really. In Arena, it's really bad. Like 2 mana 2/4 is not worth giving your opponent cards. Cult Master is really strong. I've been running to that a lot, and that has basically won my opponent's games. So giving your opponent cards is not good unless you're playing mill decks. So like I said, that and constructed in Arena, it's really bad. Agam Rager, 3 mana 1/5. Looks like the old gods got to Magma Rager, burned him out, and now his stats have swapped. 3 mana 1/5 is just really bad. Okay, we already said 3 mana for a total of like for 6 stats. It's good, but spread out that much is just really terrible. Like, this is never gonna see play ever. Like, let's just not go too in depth of it. Disciple of Cthulhu. Battlecry, deal 2 damage. 3 mana 2/1. Battlecry, deal 2 damage. Give your Cthulhu +2/+2. This is actually has the potential. It's comparable definitely to Ironforge Rifleman, which is a 3 mana 2/2 that deals 1 damage. Your dealing 2 damage is actually going to be very strong. The stat line is not very good, but it's comparable to Argent Horseman or Horse Rider or whatever, the 3 mana 2/1 charge and Divine Shield, because it can basically kill 2 things. It's a 2-for-1 card. At 3 mana, it's not very good. I mean, it's actually, like, the stat line's not very good for 3 mana card, but the effect is pretty good. Give your Cthulhu +2/+2, obviously. We don't know how fast Cthulhu is going to be, the decks are going to be, so, yeah, debatably this is actually a pretty good card. I actually really like this one, because it has 2 effects in the Battlecry. And you're going to see in the future of Hearthstone, cards are going to start getting more and more complex. We have Squirming Tentacle, 3 mana 2/4 with Taunt. Oh yeah, so this is a Cthulhu card, so it's not going to be played in Arena, by the way. Yeah, so 3 mana 2/4 with Taunt is actually not terrible. So as we were saying with the Agam Rager, a 3 mana 2/4 is pretty strong. One that has Taunt, though, is also pretty good. Comparable to Iron Fur Grizzly. This can take out some, if you're going first in Arena, and you get to 3 mana first, this is actually not terrible because your opponent should have 1 or 2 2-drops probably on the board that usually have 2 or less health. On average, most 2-drops have has 2 or less health. So this is actually not terrible. And in Arena, at least, in the Constructed, obviously, such a simple card is usually not going to make Constructed. So yeah, that's just pretty much it. There's not much to say about this one. It's a pretty strong vanilla card. And then obviously Senjin Shieldmaster is basically this and giving it +1/+1 and +1 in man cost. And if that's played, then I think this has a really strong chance of being played. I actually kind of like this card a lot. But yeah, it's going to be pretty good in Arena and not in Constructed though. So we have Silithid Swarmer, can only attack if your hero attack this turn. 3 mana, 3/5. So we're going back to the overpriced stat line, sort of. I'm going to use that as a lot, in these reviews. If it can only, so it's a 3 mana 3/5, right? Most 3 mana cards are 3 mana 4/3s, 3 mana 3/3s, or 3 mana 3/4s. So you're giving it +1 health, but then it can only attack if your hero attack this turn. So obviously you're not going to play this in anything like, I guess, you're not going to play this in Priest, because Priest never attacks. Warlock rarely, because if you have Jiraxis by luck. So none of those two, but everything else with weapons, everything with an attacking hero power. I think that's the rest of them, right? Shaman has weapons. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it, but you can comment if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure those are, yeah, okay, whatever, let's not go into there. Oh, Mage, you're not gonna play it. But this is a decent stat line. You're basically, yeah, in Constructed is probably not going to be played, because Constructed requires way too much comboing and synergy among cards, so this is not going to make Constructed. But in Arena, it might be pretty good, because it's a 3 mana 3/5, so it's basically Senjin stats, right? And it basically influences you to say, okay, next turn I want to have a 2-drop and a hero power, if I was playing Druid or Rogue. Or I should have a weapon equipped before playing this. So 2 mana weapon like Fiery War Axe. I'd play Fiery War Axe, kill 1 minion, and then play this and pass or something, and then I would have to, or maybe equip a Death Spite on turn 4, so that I can attack with this. So it might see play in the Arena, but it's just, like I said, just asking you to either, as a Druid or a Rogue, hero power, or have a weapon already equipped and ready to go. On the following turn or the turn before, it doesn't really matter. But keep in mind, this will not gain charge if you attack on turn 3. If you play this on turn 3 and I attack with Fire War Axe, this will not gain charge. Spawn of the Zoth, 3 mana 2/2, give Death Rattle, give your minions +1/+1. This is actually really bad. 2/2 for stats at a 3 mana card is already really bad. And comparable to, I believe, what's it called? Silent Knight is a 3 mana 2/2 with Divine Shield and Stealth. Is not very good. This Death Rattle is way too situational. People already play around Dark Cultist without too much trouble anyway. So this is not. It's very easy to play around, and really bad stat line, really bad effect. Not going to see play in any Constructed or Arena. So Twilight Elder. At the end of your turn, give Cthulhu +1/+1 wherever it is. 3 mana 3/4 is actually a really good stat line. However, the effect of giving Cthulhu +1/+1, not as strong as +2/+2. If this was +2/+2, it would be like one of the auto includes in Cthulhu decks. But I think this is actually going to be one of the stronger cards of the Cthulhu series, because 3 mana 3/4 is actually a decent stat line. So yeah, this might see play in the Constructed Cthulhu decks. I feel like this is actually one of the better cards, and this is powering up Cthulhu just at the beginning. Similar to Beckoner of Evil, this will not be an Arena, but Beckoner of Evil might actually see play just because it's the even stat line. But anyway, yeah, I actually like this card a lot, and I think this one will be played in the Cthulhu decks. This one has a better chance than Beckoner of Evil, and like I said, it's not an Arena, so I know I'm repeating a lot. I'm sorry if I do that. 4 mana 3/5 Aberrant Berserker. So this is Amani Berserker flipped basically, or going Super Saiyan or whatever. So it went from a 2 mana 2/3 to a 4 mana 3/5. So Senjin stats is not terrible. Enrage +2 attack. This is actually a really good Arena card. I like it a lot. 4 mana 3/5s are really strong in Arena, because killing 3-drops and 2-drops are easy. You'll get a 2 or 3 for 1 trade with this. And just the Enrage. The reason why Amani Berserker is so strong is that because if you play this on if you play it on 2 and your opponent, let's say, like coins out a 4-drop or something, you can actually, as a mage, you can ping your minion and then hit that and trade really nicely. So this card is actually really good, I feel like. In Constructed, it's too simple, it's not going to make Constructed, but in Arena, it's like an auto pick, I feel like. Aside from like cards like Dark Iron Dwarf and of course Chillwind Yeti, I feel like this is just a very strong 4-drop. So it will definitely compete with those, but definitely it's not a replacement for Yeti or Dark Iron Dwarf. We have Blackwater Pirate. 4 mana 2/5, your weapons cost 2 less. Wow. So making cheaper weapons is not terrible. 4 mana 2/5 first as a stat line is not the best. We have 4 mana 2/6s in the form of Maiden of the Lake, which makes your hero power 1. So very, very comparable to this. So this loses 1 attack, and make sure things cost 1 less. So hey, you can get this on turn 4, you can play this, you can get a free fire war axe, hit for something. That's really the only 2 mana weapon, I feel like. And making your weapons cost less is not very much. Most weapon classes aren't combo based if you actually need it, and you usually don't need the weapon charge for lethal. Usually you're prepping the weapon. So for example, in the warrior back in the old time before the standard comes out, obviously, Death's Bite was used as a 4 mana 4 attack weapon. You hit something, then the following turn you'd play Grommash Hellscream. You attack with the Death's Bite. The Death's Bite swings and hits everything for 1 damage, and Grom becomes a 10 attack, and that's usually a finisher. But yeah, you usually don't need to make your weapons cost less. Usually the weapons are just very strong enough by being whatever cost they are, being able to have multiple charges is usually good enough to get enough value off the weapons. But yeah, I don't think this is going to see play. In Arena, it needs 1 more attack, and then it would be much stronger. But yeah, this is really bad in Arena. It's not that good. I mean, it's mediocre in Arena. It's not a terrible card, but it's not a great card either. We have Cthulhu's Chosen. This is actually one of the best ones from Cthulhu decks. 4 mana 4/2, Divine Shield, Battlecry, give your Cthulhu +2/+2. So 4 mana 4/2 is not that good, but when you read the effect, Divine Shield and Battlecry, and the Battlecry obviously giving your Cthulhu, this just standalone is literally a Scarlet Crusader with +1/+1 and added 1 mana. So it's actually really good. And then giving your Cthulhu +2/+2 is obviously just the added bonus. We don't know how fast Cthulhu decks are going to grow, so whatever. Let's just skip that part. This card is actually just really strong. Because 4 mana 4/2 with Divine Shield could either be a Yeti, it could be a Twilight Drake, I don't know. But yeah, it's actually, I think this is, in addition to Twilight Elder, this one will probably see a lot of play. This one is actually really good, and yeah, I like this one a lot. And obviously this is not going to be in Arena, but I definitely think it could, just with this stat line and with this effect. You don't even need the Cthulhu effect. It's totally fine at this. I think it has a lot of potential this way. So Cyclopean Horror, what the heck? We have a 4 mana 3/3 taunt. Battlecry, gain 1 health for each enemy minion. Very comparable to Dread Corsair as the original stat line. But you can definitely get value out of this card if your opponent has 2 or more. Either that or it becomes a Senjin. But I think Senjin's probably more solid. By turn 4, so first of all, in Constructed, this is not going to make Constructed. In Arena, this might see some play, because it's it can become 4 mana, like 3/10, which is actually really bad, because if your opponent already swarmed the board by that much, unless they're all muster for battle tokens or like Stand Against Darkness or something like that, then it may not be that bad. But usually if you can get this really high, you're probably dead anyway, so you don't really need that health. It's really just to stall the inevitable defeat. But yeah, very comparable to Senjin. I think in Arena it's mediocre, it's not that good. But the art is, what the heck. Alright, let's scroll down. Eater of Secrets, 4 mana 2/4 Battlecry. Destroy all enemy secrets, gain +1/+1 for each. They already killed Secret Paladin without one of the best secrets, the 1 mana secret, Avenge. Secret Paladin's probably not going to be as strong, similar to the way they did it with, what is it? With Patron Warrior. It might see it like a little bit of competition, but Patron Warrior actually became a tier 1 deck, so let's not go there. It's like a neutral super keys on this, literally. That's pretty much it. You're usually not going to be able to get the +1/+1 off of it. Usually, if you can get 1 secret off of it, you'd immediately get value, because a 3/5 is pretty good for a 4 mana card. So I doubt this will be in Constructed, because Flare is already good enough if you really need to kill secrets. Just play Hunter, why not? And yeah, so this is, But it is a neutral one, so if should you really struggle with your freeze mage matchups, this is a considerable option. Yeah, I don't think it's that good. Secret Paladin's already gone. Usually, freeze mage is really the only thing you have to struggle with. Hunter's traps aren't too hard enough. Just attack with your weakest minion and it shouldn't have a problem. But in Arena, it's not that good because 2-4 isn't good. This is comparable to No Mission Mentor because it has 2-4, but No Mission Mentor draws you a card, so, yeah. Evolved Kobold. Alright. 4 mana, 2-2. Spell damage +2. Wow. Spell damage +2, but it's on a 2-2. 4 mana 2-2 minion is terrible. So, this is probably worse than playing 2 double Kobold Geomancer, like, honestly. So the old gods got to Kobold Geomancer and made him really bad. So this card is really bad. Not going to be in Constructed or Arena. Like, never draft this. Would you really play 4 mana for 2-2? Like, do you even draft, like, Dreadsteed in Arena? You probably don't, anyway. Unless you literally got, like, Constructed in Arena. But yeah, this card's really bad. I doubt spell damage +2 will ever do much anyway, so yeah, this card's really bad. Faceless Shambler, 4 mana taunt, battlecry copy of friendly minions attack and health. Friendly, keep that in mind. So people were immediately thinking this could go in handlock because what you do, you play your Mountain Giant, then you play this, and then you get another 8/8 for 4 mana. But this one's actually guaranteed 4 mana, so. Yeah, this is easily silenceable. But obviously Blizzard nerfs silence, so it's not as good. But I mean, it's not as vulnerable, let's say. And they also nerf BGH anyway, so yeah, I don't know. There's not much to say about this. This is not very good. In Constructed, I doubt this will really see too much because I actually really don't. I don't see any way this card could really make it in there. Handlock, like I said, just silence is actually, Priest will be very good against this because Priest has 0 mana silence and they have Mass Dispel as well, so which also might see play. But with some of these cards, I mean, yes, it's gonna slow down because silence won't be as prevalent. So maybe it has potential. In Arena, it's not terrible. But it's not Faceless Manipulator. When you play Faceless Manipulator, you gain +1 mana and you lose taunt, but you get pretty much the same thing anyway, and you get the buff. You get all the buffs from it basically. But like if I were to copy a card that was like Valen's Chosen, let's say in like Wild, right? Then I would not get the spell power, and I would rather pay 1 more mana and lose taunt and then get the spell power from that. But anyway, yeah, I don't think it's that good, and in Arena, it's probably not the best. But it's just gonna be basically the biggest thing on your side of the board, and it's terrible to be in top deck mode into. Infested Tauren, oh my gosh, it's Sludge Belcher at 4 mana? No, it's not actually. They got the Tauren Warrior, so those old gods. Taunt, summon a 2/2 slime that does no taunt, does not have taunt. So it's a 4/5 in stats, like, oh wow, Yeti stats. No, it's not. But yeah, so it has taunt. A 2/3 with taunt is really bad at 4 mana, and a 2/2 slime, yeah, it's just not that good because it'll always have 2 attack. It's never gonna have 4 attack like Yeti does, and that's what makes Yeti stronger. Is because they're all in one package, and that's why the card is so good. At least Yeti is. So we have Midnight Drake. Yeah, this card is just not bad. Not bad. It's just terrible. Like never played in Constructed or Arena. Midnight Drake, 4 mana, 1/4, gain 1 attack for each other card in your hand. Comparable definitely to Twilight Drake, which is probably the original. However, Twilight Drake was seen in handlock because they draw a lot of cards, and then obviously it's really good because then you taunt it up, you have a 4 attack minion that's very hard to remove. So the reason why Yeti is very strong is because it has 4 attack, and the reason why Twilight Drake is very strong is because it has 4 attack. But this card, yeah, you can try it in handlock, but 4 damage is easy to do at 4 mana, so yeah, in Constructed, I don't think this will see play, and in Arena, it's not that good either. Because if you have a huge hand, you're probably dead in Arena, unless you have an AoE spell, but yeah. Polluted Hoarder, 4 mana, 4/2, Death Rattle, draw a card, so they got Loot Hoarder. 4 mana 4/2 is not terrible in Arena because 4 mana, because a 4/2, you know, let's say like if draw card is worth like 3 health, this is not terrible from a minion. Yeah, this is not terrible. I think this will sleep play. It's pretty good. You know, we play Loot Hoarder, which is a 2 mana 2/1 that can easily be pinged, and this one can't be pinged. So, I mean, 2 health isn't that bad to deal damage to. But if you need card draw that's more mid-rangey, this is actually good. But I think Loot Hoarder is still, it's not going to take Loot Hoarder's place because Loot Hoarder is you get the card faster, you get the card 2 turns earlier, you play earlier basically. So.